Greetings to you all from Cavan. As Chief Executive of Cavan County Council, it's great to be part of this first ever Global Cavan Day. When I came working in Cavan, I quickly realised that Cavan was more than just a place. It's a state of mind. In fact, it's an approach to business and to life. And this state of mind goes way beyond our county boundary. I've been lucky enough to witness the great work of our global Cavan family throughout the world and the great ambassadors they are for the county. But we must share this with everybody and we must strengthen our links with our global Cavan family. Our first Global Cavan Day was to be part of the Cavan Calling Festival in August this year. Unfortunately, this could not be. So now we are celebrating the spirit of Cavan virtually on the 26th of September. We want to build global connections with our Cavan family worldwide. These people are extremely important to our county. The Cavan diaspora is estimated at almost 1 million people. But there are hundreds of thousands of others who share an affinity for the county, whether it's through culture, through business, through friendship, through visiting the county, or any other means. These people also form part of our global Cavan family. We want to recognise the legacy, the power and the work of the global Cavan family. So today is an opportunity for the global Cavan family to get together, no matter where you are, to think of your connection to Cavan and how you might strengthen it. It is an opportunity to think of how you might strengthen the links to the county. And it's an opportunity to celebrate everything that's good about this progressive, can-do county. This programme will be filled with a mix of chat, music, interviews, messages of hope from our global Cavan family, including interviews from well-known people in Cavan, our diaspora throughout the world, and people who have an affinity for the county. It's also an opportunity for us in Cavan County Council to present Cavan as a great place to live, to work, to visit, to do business. And we are asking you to be part of this conversation on social media by uploading videos, pictures of you taking part. The past 6 months have been difficult, but there are better times ahead. Connections are now more important than ever, so please keep connected to this global Cavan family. And we will see each other again soon, I hope, but especially for Cavan Calling in 2021. So now all that's left for me to do is to ask you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Cavan Day 2020. I'm Louise O'Reilly and we're coming to you live from the Town Hall in Cavan to celebrate all things from the Breffni County and its people. So grab a cuppa, get settled in and join me as I chat to some of Cavan's most inspiring people making an impact both here at home and around the world. Get involved in social media, send us your Cavan stories, throw on the blue and white jersey and send us a selfie, all using the hashtag Cavan Day. Let's celebrate our global Cavan family together. Now I am joined by writer and director Philip Doherty and Cavan actor Aaron Monaghan. Thank you both very much for joining me. You're here to tell us all about Redemption of a Rogue. You must be still digesting and relishing in your 2 major wins at the Galway Film Fleadh. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Louise. Yeah, it was a nice surprise. We had a great time at the Galway Film Fleadh, even though we're in our kitchens watching as part of it. It was a big achievement, I think, for us to get the film into the Fleadh in the first place. Then to win Best First Feature and Best Irish Film, I don't know, it was a shock, but it felt great. It was lots of celebrations.
Big awards to win. The film was shot on location around Cavan, but how important was it to, shoot in Cavan and showcase your county?
Yeah, I guess. I don't think this film could have happened anywhere else, only in Cavan. It couldn't have been made anywhere else. And I think even though it was shot around 18 months ago in Swanland Bar and Cavan as well, and different areas around the county, it feels like it was about 10 years in the making because For the last decade, I guess, there's been a network of artists working together, musicians, visual artists, set builders, designers, actors. So we've been making a lot of work. A lot of it was through the Gonzo Theatre, and then after that, the Town Hall, when the Gonzo sort of joined up with Transart. So there was this wonderful scene happening, and there was filmmakers involved, but we never... even though we made massive theatre shows of scale with like 150 performers, these ridiculously big shows, we never made a film. So that was kind of the main reason to make it, and Cavan County Council through the Arts Office supported that, and I guess we had to make something for screen to last forever, and that was the main reason, because of the amount of brilliant people working on the ground with the film. And yeah, and it's testament to all those people that were able to pull it off, because it wasn't an easy one to shoot. It was all under rain, or majority of the film, a producer's nightmare. There was scenes with crowds and fight scenes and animals and children's and choirs and sort of lavishly costumed dream sequences. So it was impossible to make normally, but because of the people in Cavan, I think it was the only way we could pull it off. So. Yeah.
I don't know if it's okay to say, but there was a great film that I think has probably inspired Redemption of a Rogue. I remember, like, back in, was it 1990, the Playboys was shot in Red Hills, and that was a moment for me where it was like Hollywood came to Cavan. And
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me it was like, oh, it might be possible to be an actor, or for these things to actually happen. So yeah, being on those sets, like whether it's Assassin's Creed or Love Hate or wherever it is, it's something stirred in me when I first was on that film set. My dad was an extra in it at one point, I'm sure half the time was as well. But yeah, and it was nice then to come back to Redemption of a Rogue, and there was another film finally been shot in Cavan as well.
Just choosing your cast obviously was very important. So Aaron, when Philip approached you to play the lead role in Prodigal Son, was it immediate yes? Were you happy to work with Philip?
Instantly, yeah. It was the easiest yes I've ever had. Like, do you want to be involved? Like when Philip was talking about the network of Cavan artists and stuff like that, a lot of my work has taken me away from Cavan a lot of the time. So I was watching the last 10 years of this explosion of the art scene, slightly jealously and kind of really proudly watching it from afar and wanting to be part of it. So yeah, the idea that he wanted to make a Cavan film, set it in Cavan, film it in Cavan, and meant that I got to spend time here. Yeah, instant. It was the easiest yes ever. Yeah.
I absolutely loved it, but just for everybody watching at home, we're going to cut to a clip now of Redemption of a Rogue, so you can get a taste of what it was all about.
Say something! Show me one meaningful act! Come on!
Hello, Jimmy. Jimmy, have you got any fags?
Fags?
Cigarettes, like?
Sorry, we've only rollies. But I could roll you one.
That'd be nice. Thank you. Light us up there too, like a good lad, please.
I've no light.
Philip, we'll come back to you. What's next for Redemption of a Rogue?
That's a very good question. You have to ask Mr. Pandemic. I don't know. I feel almost embarrassed with that question because no one really knows. So we're hoping for a festival run, and an international premiere would be lovely at a big festival, and then we're aiming to release the film. It will have a cinema release in Ireland at some stage, whether it's towards the end of the year or a little bit after, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to sitting in a cinema and watching it.
Yeah, I know. So am I. I really am. I can't wait for that moment and that premiere that we're ready for it. Aaron and Philip, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today for Cavan Day, and we wish you the very best of luck with Redemption of a Rogue, and I can't wait for audiences all around the world to finally get to see it. So thank you both.
Thanks,
Louise. Up Cavan.
On Cavan.
Nevin Maguire is one of Ireland's best loved chefs. With his cookery books, TV show and restaurant, he's one busy man. We caught up with him in his restaurant in Blackline, McNean House.
Well, I think Cavan has a huge amount of potential. You know, I've always said that. I think we have an awful lot to offer. I go back to the outdoors, which is fantastic. There's a huge amount to discover and explore and see. I think it's unspoilt, it's not commercial. I think that's really important. More and more people want an active holiday, and I think they'll get that in Cavan, as well as having great food, somewhere nice to stay. I think the whole county in a whole can offer so much that people are really discovering it now, and I think it has an exciting future ahead of it. And for me, when I look at the food end of things, the Taste of Cavan, the way that has evolved to definitely one of the best food shows in the county, or in the country, excuse me, should I say, because I do them all. I go to every food show, but there's no one beats the Taste of Cavan for me. You meet local people, local producers, and that's where the love of food and good hospitality starts from. We have a lot of great places that people can come and visit, and they're actually pleasantly surprised. But for me, it's all about the warmth that people give them. You know, people in Cavan are very warm, very friendly. They have a great sense of humour. Thank God we need that. And you know, I just think there's something very genuine about Cavan people. I think that's really important. So I'm from a family of 9. All my family worked in the business, and our business has grown so much. It was a small kind of like family run business, and we try and treat our staff like family, employ local people. I think that's really important. You know, the majority of our staff are local within the area, so that's really important to me, and that's where I got the love. Mum and Dad started it all, so they did. And my mother taught me from the age of 8 and 9, you know, how to bake. So the first things I made was flapjacks, apple tart, shortbread, made a mess in the kitchen. I'm still doing that, but that's where I got the love of food. Mum and Dad would be so proud because they're no longer alive. So it's all about your team. If you treat them like family, they feel proud, first of all, of what we're doing, but where we're based in Blackline. They're very proud of the success because it's all about them and your customers. It's not about me and I, it's about us and we. I think that's really important. I keep pinching myself and thinking, my God, what a success it's been, but we never take it for granted. It's all about giving someone warm, friendly Cavan hospitality and giving some great food and produce, and I think that's what we try and do day in, day out here. But it's about a food experience for our guests, and people say, wow. Well, I met a 90-year-old woman before Christmas last year. I asked her, did she enjoy the meal? She said, Nevin, it was the best meal of my life. So when someone says that to me now, she did have 3 bottles of wine in her, but I'm only joking. That was a lovely experience for me to hear that a 90-year-old woman said that was the best meal of her life. For me, that's, if we give our guests memorable experiences and that they get to see the area, and that's one thing I've noticed over the last year. They're coming early, maybe a day ahead, staying in Cavan. They're exploring the county of Cavan, which is, I'm really proud of that. It's great.
Hello, I'm Killian Sheridan. I'm currently over in Poland playing with Wisła Płock. I'd like to wish everyone back home and abroad a very happy Cavan Day.
Greetings from New York. My name is Ciarán O'Reilly. I come from Virginia, County Cavan. I'm sitting in the Irish Repertory Theatre in Manhattan, a company I co-founded and have been the producing director of for the past 32 years. It's closed now because of the pandemic, but our spirits are up and we have gone online, so people all around the world can watch the Irish Repertory Theatre from the comfort of their own living rooms. Hope you will join us there. So delighted to be a part of the global Cavan calling. Greetings to all our friends around the world. Sláinte.
Next up is a truly inspirational young woman. 21-year-old Irish powerlifter Brittany Arenzi is here to share her story. A car accident, Brittany, back in 2009 was a significant turning point in your life. Tell us about that.
It was back in 2009 and it was a major impact, head-on collision, and I was in between 2 car seats and had a lap belt on, which left me paralysed from the waist down, and had been in 2 different hospitals for a whole year. So it was a really major thing.
You've really had to overcome so much, and what a difficult time for you and your family.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But let's move forward, and now currently you're a world record holder and you're now going to be representing Ireland and Cavan as part of the Olympic team. How does that feel?
It feels amazing, you know, the adrenaline rush and everything, but it kind of goes over my head, because to me it's just a hobby, you know, representing my country in sports, because sports is the main thing that got me started.
Yeah.
You know, we done basketball, swimming and everything, and I could represent Ireland in any sport,
Yeah.
you know. But
you're
it's
very
just-
athletic,
yeah.
clearly. And tell us a little bit more about powerlifting for people who are not sure what the sport is.
Powerlifting is when you're doing bench press, laying flat. You either use a strap or you can use no straps, and you bench what you can bench.
And what led you into the sport, or how did you get involved?
I was founded by a coach seeking athletes to join the team, and he asked me to try out, and I was like, whoa, this is something to put my anger and strength into.
Yeah.
And he told me I was built for the sport, so I stuck to it, and 4 or 5 years later, still stuck with it.
Wow. Well, what does it take to be a powerlifting champion?
Oh geez, courage, too many words. Like, you know, you have to love it, you have to stick with it, and even though there's battles and everything, you have to fight through everything.
Yeah. And obviously you were very disappointed that the Olympics, you know, hasn't gone ahead for 2020, but you're really working towards that for 2021, and you're going to be heading off to Tokyo with the Irish team.
Yeah.
Huge
hopefully.
honour.
It is, yeah, definitely.
You've overcome all the odds, but now what are you most excited about for your future, Brittany?
Getting to see the world for my country, representing them, everyone, and, you know, making my parents proud, you know, and doing what I love, even though if it's a struggle or not, you know, I still love it. And just getting out there and show them who's boss.
Well, Brittany, you're an inspirational young lady, and we wish you all the luck going forward in the future, and we look forward to following your journey, and thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'm losing will. My hands are soft as cotton gloves. Machine has eaten up my job. My meaning, my cause. Machine with the strength of 100 men. Can't feed and clothe my children. Can't greet a sailor coming in, or know of desperation. I shovel coal down Spencer's dock. I took a deer into wedlock. And you did a bear as a beautiful flock. We've rocked the machine down on the docks. We've rocked the machine until it stops. Oh Lord, if you show me gold, and like heaven I will go. Oh, roaring and lift me when you're high, like a comrade I will die, and the gold will glow and I will rise. We're gold enough to win back time. We're gold enough to win back pride. River rocked the machine until it died. Today, dear, I am unemployed. Before I spoke, you read in my eyes. I feared of nothing or no one, but I feel old and I'm so young. I miss the graft, I miss the boys. I plead for purpose in the void. Time is in a word ticking tighter. I wish my load was a mountain lighter. I shovel coal down Spencer's dock. I took you dear into wedlock, and you did bear us a beautiful flock. We've all rocked the machine down on the docks. We've all rocked the machine until it stops. Oh Lord, if you show me gold, and like everywhere I will go. Oh Lord, if you when you hide, like a comrade I will die, and the gold will glow and I will rise. We're gold enough to win back time. We're gold enough to win back pride. River rock the machine until it dies. River rock the machine down on the docks. River rock the machine until it stops.
Hi everyone, it's Leanne Kiernan here. I'm just over here in from training from West Ham, and I just want to wish everybody a happy Cavan Day. I'm very proud to be from Cavan, and I hope you are too.
Cavan, this is Chris Noth. My great grandfather was a descendant and resident of County Cavan. I'm proud to be associated with your great county, and I have visited there once. I did a show called Who Do You Think You Are that traced my ancestors, which led directly to County Cavan. So I hope your celebration is grand, and I wish you all the best, and I'm proud to be a member in your esteemed elite community. Be well, and all my best wishes.
Cavan famously has 365 lakes, one for every day of the year, making it a hotspot for those who love fishing. Up next, you're in for a treat as we have a poem read by actor and playwright Pádraig McIntyre.
Scenes of enchantment in County Cavan. I oft times wonder why tourists wander to seaside places in search of thrills, and miss the grandeur of Cavan rivers, her noble lakes and rolling hills. See Rammer, Gowna and shining Sheelan, and loved Loch Urchter, for she's the queen. Down to her shores green woods come crowding, the crowning glory of Killikeen. In far-famed Cavan the Shannon rises, goes rolling down to the mighty sea. Her sisters twain cling to the homeland, the winding Erne and Annalee. What a paradise for the rod and line lad, the jolly sportsman with his dog and gun, should the powers that be improve the service to this port of Era and start the fun. Open up the lines to fair Cavan City, let folks come thronging by road and rail, for a kindly welcome awaits the stranger in this friendly land of the gallant Gael. I dearly love my native county. Her beauty haunts me in pleasant dreams. I oft revisit the lakes and rivers, the glorious woodlands and crystal streams. May all their banks keep green and bonny, their bright blue waters flow fresh and free. Come raise your glasses to old man Shannon, the lovely Erne and sweet Anna Lee.
Entrepreneur and master chocolatier Anne Rudden now joins me to talk about her business, Anya Chocolates. Anne, thank you very much for joining me. Let's talk about Anya world famous chocolates, how it started and why chocolate.
Well, from a very young age, I was always interested in chocolate. So from the age of 9, I was at home in my mother's kitchen, baking and working with chocolate. And when I graduated from college, I started to work in the chocolate industry, and that's where my passion was. And then I started Anya's Chocolates in 1999.
Wow, so running a long, long time. So you're a master chocolatier.
Yeah, a master chocolatier, and I suppose it's a craft, and chocolate is a very, very interesting product to work in. It's a little bit like coffee. There's so many different beans you can get for the chocolate, and that's what gives actual chocolate its flavour. So you can have chocolate with high cocoa, and the higher the cocoa, the better the chocolate is for you. And then you add your flavours and your milk powders then to start making your milk chocolate and white chocolate.
Wow, you're making me want some right now. You sell your brand nationwide and worldwide. Tell us more.
So from our factory in Stradone Village, which is 8 kilometres outside Cavan town. It's one of the nicest rural villages in Ireland, never mind about Cavan. But we produce various from our local Centra store to our stores in Cavan town, and also nationwide. We sell all over the world through our online business at chocolates.ie, but we also do own label for all the supermarket chains in Ireland, as well as Europe, Dubai, Russia, France, UK as well.
Whoa, Anne, you're very, very busy. You've won many awards with your chocolates. Tell us about some of them.
We've won 25 Great Taste Awards for our chocolates in the UK. This is a blind taste of all our products, and one year we won 9 gold medals. We've got best chocolate in Ireland for our 70% bar. We've won the IQ Awards, which is a really, really prestige supermarket award. We've also won the Blosnahearn Award.
Wow, and congratulations. Your chocolate is in such a competitive market. How do you make it so successful? Because they are handmade chocolates.
Yeah, all our products are handmade. So from the very, very first day that I started the company in 1999, we still use the best of raw materials. We have a clean deck of ingredients. We hand make every single product in small batches. All our products are gluten free. We offer various different flavours, which gives a good flavour. We have a passionate and a wonderful team of people working in the business. They're all passionate what they do, including myself. And I suppose we're a small Irish handmade company producing a really, really premium product that's sold worldwide.
And you're a proud Cavan woman, but what does it mean to have such a successful Cavan business on the world stage?
Well, for me, where my factory is based in my home village where I grew up, and I moved back there 13 years ago, and I am so proud to have Made in Cavan on my chocolate brand. It's very emotional for me because from a very, very young age, I always said I would have my business in my home village. So I'm absolutely delighted, and it's great to have local Cavan people, you know, work in the business and to put Stradone Village on the map worldwide.
It's a fantastic story. Finally, Anne, what is next for Anya Chocolates?
At the moment, we're rebranding our product. We're launching a new website, and we are just after doing a really big deal with a really prestige supermarket chain in the UK, and we're launching later in the year.
Wow, very exciting stuff ahead for Anya Chocolates. Well, Anne, wishing you continued success, and thank you very much for joining us, and I really look forward to sampling some of your gorgeous chocolate after the show. Thank you, Anne. Cavan Burn Park is a stunning natural resource and a huge tourist hotspot. We head over there now to find out some more.
I'm Danny Thulier, and I'm the Geopark Ambassador here in Cavan Burn Park. Well, basically we're here in the Cavan Burn Park, just outside Black Lion, County Cavan, and we're at the moment up at the Tullygobbin tomb, and this is basically where An Gobán Saor, the master craftsman of Ireland, is interred. And just behind you as well, there is the tomb where his son is reputedly buried, and behind the tomb of Gobán Saor is where his wife was reputedly interred as well. So a geopark, it's basically being part of the geopark means that you have a place that is of massive importance, cultural and heritage. So it kind of tells the story itself that the burn is so special and so important. It's a very special place. It's very hard to describe, but you just feel grounded here, and there's such a connection to our ancestry. I mean, the Calf House Dolmen tomb, it's 4000 BC, so you've got 6,000 years of people living, loving, farming, dying in here. And basically it was up until 1954 that the last family left here. So there's such a connection to our history and to our ancestors. Well, the giant's grave here is a wedge tomb, and it's a dual chamber wedge tomb, and it's basically on the top of the capstones there are the Atlantic rock art, so it's cup and ring markings, and there is the story behind it. The legend of why it's called the giant's grave would be that two local giants, Lugh and Lag, they both fell in love with the same giantess, and in order for them to win her heart and to win her hand, they decided to come up with a competition, and they decided to jump. It's called the Giant's Leap, so it's basically a massive sinkhole. So Lugh and Lag decided they would jump over the sinkhole, and whoever made it would win the hand of the giantess. So they both made it, so then they were stuck, so they had to decide how are they going to win the hand of the giantess. So Lag decided he would run backwards and jump backwards, but unfortunately he was a bit too cocky and he fell to his death. So Lugh was reputed to have carried him up to the giant's grave, and that's where he's interred. That's why it's known as the giant's grave. There's a very spiritual aspect here, but it's such a big area as well, and there's so many different aspects of it. I mean, you're up here and you have a 360-degree view, and you have views of Sligo, Leitrim, Cavan, Fermanagh, and it just shows you how much we have to offer around here. And then you can go into the forestry, and you're in all these the settlements and the field sites and all the Neolithic huts and all that kind of thing, and it's a totally different world in the forestry, and it's so quiet, and it's the sound of the trees. It's almost like you're at the sea, and it's just, there's so many different aspects of the Cavan Burn, and it's just a magical place. And it's the stones, the fact that you can actually get down off the boardwalks, come and touch the stones, touch the fossils that are there, and actually get a connection with the place that way. And that's what the kids love doing now. The kids love going fossil hunting and all that kind of thing. So it's a beautiful place to come and visit, and it brings you back to your roots, basically.
Hello all, and happy Cavan Day. My name is Kelly Farley, President of the Cavan Society of Philadelphia. Since 1907, we have served as a home away from home for immigrants to this great city. We continue that mission with the help of descendants through charitable efforts and events throughout our community. We are so very proud to be a part of the Cavan diaspora and this Cavan Day, and very much looking forward to the Cavan Homecoming 2021. Up Cavan!
This is Marcus Daly at the entrance of Montana Technological University. And this is Butte. In many ways, is creation, a fascinating city in one of the most successful mining area in the history of mining. Marcus Daly was from Croshallock, County Cavan. He was immensely brilliant. He had limitless energy. I am Father Patrick Beretta, chaplain at Montana Technological University and parish priest at St. Patrick and Immaculate Conception parishes here in Butte. And so from Butte, America, we send our greetings to Cavan and to the Cavan people spread throughout the whole world for the occasion of Cavan Day 2020.
Up next is Irish comedian and TV presenter Cavan McGahern. Cavan, you're very welcome.
Thanks very much, Louise.
Thanks for joining me here for Cavan Day.
It's a pleasure.
So Cavan, you grew up in the beautiful Lochgowna.
I did.
Somewhere you're very proud to be from. But how did you make the transition from country life to comedy life?
I was fortunate enough to be in Dublin when the recession hit, and I noticed a lot of people were losing their jobs, so I thought it was a perfect time to quit, because there wasn't that much pressure to be working. So that was it. I became a comedian, went on the dole, and I just sort of kind of a hobby that became a job, really.
Yeah. A good job.
A good job. I was working in the International Bar, which is kind of where comedy started in Ireland. So it was probably a good place. It was a bit like Carl Spain said it. I was like Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting. You know Matt Damon, he's a janitor.
Yeah.
He was a genius at maths, and he could have worked in any school, and he chose to work in like MIT, like the biggest math school. So I became a barman in the best comedy bar.
Well, comedy's opened many doors for you, but you always kind of like to get that element of Cavanness into your work, the fact that you're from Cavan.
I suppose it's a funny county. Like, it's one thing you notice when you go abroad is that most Irish people are very, very funny, and most Cavan people are very, very funny. Like, my dad has a great sense of humour, so the bar is quite high. And especially when you're a culture in Dublin, you do have a slightly skewed view in the world.
You've many career highlights, including host of RTÉ's Republic of Telly, a regular cast member on the successful Irish show Hardy Bucks, and your documentaries Fast and Furious and Cavan McGahern's America. So lots of work there that you must be really proud of. Let's talk about the film No Party for Billy Burns, which you starred in, and recent film Redemption of a Rogue. Both films documenting the beauty of Cavan, and obviously a lot of it was filmed around your locality.
Yeah, I suppose between myself, Porrick and Philip, we have an amazing appreciation of where we're from, both, as you said, the beauty of the area and the humour. Like, I know myself and Porrick we got hours of crack just imitating people from home and just finding odd little things that are unique to our area. So it was so rewarding to be able to put that into a film, to show other people what we found fascinating about where we're from.
You know, when people around the world looking at these films, does it really highlight what Cavan is and the landscape? Yeah,
because it's not something that's put on. When you think of Irish film, I suppose you think of the West a lot. You think of the sea and the cliffs of Moher and stuff like that. You don't necessarily think of the Midlands. Like, a huge influence on us would have been The Butcher Boy. To see those voices and to see that humour and the landscape on film just blew my mind. Because I was obsessed with film as a kid, and to see Cavan and Monaghan in a film was magical.
Yeah. Do you think, I suppose, being from Cavan contributes to your stand-up and your shows? I've seen you at Electric Picnic and on many stages, and I'm always proud saying, he's from Cavan. Great.
Yeah, I always had a lot of pride as where I was from. Like, we grew up, fishing in lakes and running through fields, and you're surrounded by nature the whole time, and I had a great experience. I had a great childhood growing up in Gowna,
Luxury, really.
Yeah.
That people don't realise.
No.
Look, you've been really busy over the last while, but what's next for you, Cavan? What's going to be happening going forward? Any new stand-up kind of material coming?
I don't know. Like, I mean, with COVID, I just sort of decided to put stand-up on hold and just focus on other things, and it's been great. Like, having limitations is a great way to work. Like, I had no limitations last year, and I was doing feck all. But I've been busier this year than I have last year, so yeah, more TV, hopefully more film.
Yeah. Cavan, thanks a million for taking the time to join us for Cavan Day, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Louise.
Joining me on our GAA panel is Mickey Graham, former Cavan County player and current senior county manager, NASA Bird Cavan Ladies captain, and 5-time world handball champion Paul Brady. You're all very welcome. Mickey, we'll start with you first. Explain to us the feeling and pride of wearing the county jersey.
I suppose from a young age it was something that I always wanted to do. Now, it didn't happen too easy, let me tell you, because you know, a lot of hard work went into it, and you know, I was introduced to Gaelic at a very young age, from 7 years of age, and you know, it was all I ever wanted to do, and tried to work hard, and you know, it didn't represent the Cavan at minor level, and it just progressed from there. But you know, it's a great honour. You know, Cavan's steeped in tradition. You know, all the talk about is football in Cavan, because you know, as I said, it goes back a long time, and people are really into the football. And you know, as I said, it was a great honour to represent your county.
Well, let's fast forward now as county manager for the senior panel. A great honour, Mickey.
Yeah, look, it is something probably, you know, that probably didn't think it was going to happen, and all of a sudden, you know, it did. And you know, it's a great honour to be able to go out and try and, you know, develop the players within the Cavan, and you know, try and move Cavan forward. And there's a lot of talent in Cavan at the moment, and you just hope that you can go out and do your best and help them perform to the best of their ability, and you know, do it on a consistent basis. And you know, that's all you can do. And as I said, it's a great honour, and hopefully, you know, we can keep making progress and keep improving and keep developing.
Congratulations, NASA, on becoming the Cavan Senior Ladies captain. A huge honour for you, but what does it mean?
Thanks, Louise. Look, like Mickey said, it's always an honour to wear your Cavan jersey. I think I was very shocked at first when I was told that I was going to be captain, but like both the lads here, it's just an honour to play for Cavan. And like Mickey said, I've come from a family steeped in football traditions, and you know, every Sunday we used to go around following the men's team, and you know, like he said, it was always a dream to play for Cavan, and then I suppose to get captain was just the cherry on top, you know.
Absolutely. Share with us the great success story the Cavan Ladies football has experienced over the recent years.
Yeah, well, so I've played from under 14 right up, and the last few years we've had serious underage success. In the last few years they've won the intermediate All-Ireland. I was only minor at the time, so I wasn't on the team, but yeah, it's really gone from strength to strength, and every year now on the team you can just see how much the game is progressing, and you know, the competition for places is fantastic. When I was underage, we won 5 Ulster titles, so the most memorable of them was probably winning 2 minor titles back to back, and that's something that I'm definitely very proud of. And
wow, well, that was actually one of my next questions, because in your own right you're a standout performer for the Girls in Blue and for your club, but as you said, that was one of your proudest moments with the Cavan Ladies.
Yeah, no, definitely. Winning the minor titles was definitely up there, and then I suppose getting my first start with the seniors for both championship and league was definitely a highlight as well, making your debut. And I think it was a proud day for, you know, my family, but also my club, Crishelaw, as well. And I think it's lovely to go back to the club and be able to represent a county like Cavan, and you know, it's held with such esteem as well to be able to play for your county. So
yeah, as well. Thank you very much, NASA, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
We'll move along to you, Paul, and you were one of the all-time greats of handball, and you've dedicated your life to the sport.
Thanks, Louise. Yeah, it's been a huge part, obviously, since I took it up in St. Pat's there in Cavan when I was about 12, so it basically dictated the course of my life for the last 20 years.
A long time.
Yeah, so.
And when you're playing handball, Paul, around the world, do you feel the importance and connection of being from Cavan?
Of course, that's always with you, you know, your roots from your club to your county, you know, and you know, I suppose I was always trying trying to represent both my club and my county as best I could. That was always, you know, it's part of your DNA. So when you take to the court or the field or whatever, you know, that's, you know, it's part of who you are, and I was very aware of that and proud of that. So I used it to motivate myself, and, you know, hopefully I could motivate other people as well to go on and be the best they could be.
And as you said, to be the best you could be, you said before you want to be remembered as the greatest player to ever play the sport. Do you feel you've accomplished that goal?
I feel happy within myself, yeah, that I drove the sport to a higher standard than I had been previously. I suppose there was one outstanding record in the States. I've equalled the American record of titles, so I was ready and prepared to go back and try and win that title, and unfortunately the pandemic hit, so it probably robbed me of the chance of it, unfortunately, but that's life. I don't have any regrets. Maybe if something happened in the next few months, who knows what could happen, but you know, I'm happy within myself that I hit the goals I set out all those years ago, and I can't have any regrets. You know, I'm content with what's been achieved.
The GAA plays a crucial role in Cavan life and in Irish life in general, but what are your experiences of that?
I think during the height of lockdown, I think it was the GAA communities around Cavan that really shone bright, and I know from the clubs around home, like, they really stood up and played their part in Cavan, and it was just so lovely. You know, they supported vulnerable people in the areas, and I think that's something that we can definitely all say, that we're part of such a strong community. Yeah, that is the GAA, you know.
Absolutely. And Paul?
Do you know, even looking back, I suppose NASA and Mickey have won club championships, what it does to the parish when you win. Mickey said the highlights, or NASA were the one provincial titles and, you know, challenge for All-Ireland honours. It makes a huge difference to a community, and even from my own experience as well, like, you know, the lift it gives a parish when you win something. So it's just embedded in the fabric of you know, clubs and the Irish society.
Sure is. That's brilliant, Paul. Thank you very much. That's great. I think you've really just summarised exactly what the Cavan and GAA means to everybody. Thank you very much. We love the GAA here in Cavan. Cavan people love to take the GAA family across the world. Arthur Sullivan in Berlin tells us more.
You know, you can't talk about the GAA abroad without devoting a large chapter to Cavan and its contribution, because from the very earliest days of GAA clubs being founded in cities like New York or London over 100 years ago, it was very often Cavan people at the very centre of those clubs, and have continued to be so over the years. So that's the experience that many people, wherever they're from, who've been involved with GAA clubs over the years will tell you. There's always Cavan people involved at those clubs. And I had the same experience myself when I moved to Berlin. I moved here in 2016, and I went down to a training session, and at the very first person I spoke to at the training session was the chairman of the club, who was from Belturbet. When you come to a city abroad, you know, you're not bringing a language that connects you to the other Cavan people necessarily, but the one thing that you do bring is the language of Gaelic football, the language of the GAA. I think that's our language that we travel with abroad, and it's one of the reasons why we're so quick to get involved with GAA clubs. The GAA is always there for you, and that's the story really of Cavan GAA abroad. It's just, we're one of the most passionate GAA counties, and that you can see that in the amount of people from Cavan involved with clubs abroad.
Now every child loves a teddy bear. Bear Essentials was set up by Anka and Nico, a company that has gone from strength to strength, delighting hundreds of children around the world. We caught up with Anka in Bomboy to tell us more.
Bear Essentials, like the name says, is all about teddy bears. We have the largest collection of teddy bears in Ireland. We also stock our own Bear Essentials brand of traditional collectible teddy bears, one-off designs. People come here, a lot of families, because they love the atmosphere around in the garden. They love our playground. They can have a picnic here, and also usually can take part in workshops which are limited this year really to families and not to huge groups. If you like to know more about Bear Essentials Ireland, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook, or you can get in contact with us on our website bearessentials.ie. Everything you find in the shop here you will find online as well, so we have a lot of international customers as well for the shop, for the products, but also for our international teddy bear hospital.
Cavan people have travelled far and wide over the years, creating a large global family. Now we are going to head over to the genealogy department, where we are going to find out how you can trace your Breffni roots.
Everybody comes from somewhere. It's an emotional business, genealogy and family history. Particularly, I suppose, maybe not so much for Irish people who live in the country, but particularly for immigrants, people who've gone abroad, America, England, Scotland and Canada and Australia. So for them it's an emotional experience to come back and realise, and they probably heard stories of some of the sadness and some of the poverty that their people endured. So to come back and maybe experience that for the first time. Lots of them will come here after their initial contact with us. You know, they'll decide to come then because they have found information. There was very high immigration rates from this county, and despite all the reasons for immigration, the famine, pre-famine, post-famine, and the famine itself, and all the economic variables that brought, you still have to remember that every single person who left had a personal story and a personal reason for going, and it could have been a family reason. It might not necessarily have been part of the big reasons, you know. So that, and we've got a lot of those stories back in our diaspora archive. So every inquiry has a story behind it. Yeah. The grandparents is the easy part. It's when you go back further, it's the harder bits. And even if we look at our own surnames, our own surnames are more related to kin. Our Mac surnames, you know, rather than a lot of English surnames are based on the landscape. They're toponymics, but ours are more familial, you know, all from the previous ancestor and the previous ancestor. So that's where a lot of our Macs and O's come from, and that's a peculiarly Irish system of surname naming. So there was a lot of importance placed in our history on your family, on the ancestors, on your clan. Yeah. Well, I think every record is a person. We get the harder questions. Exactly. Yeah. If it can't be found, why can't it be found? We have to answer those questions for them. Well, that's what it is. We dig it. We dig out there's the no record. doubt about it. Yeah. And each step leads on to the next. Yes. You know, and then you do get very engrossed in it. There's no doubt about it. You get on a roll, as the fellow says, and you can't go to lunch because you're just nearly there. If somebody comes in with just a surname too, we can almost tell them straight away what part, where in County Cavan they came from, because all the families were in clusters, you know. Like all of the McGoverns come from West Cavan, you know. McGovern, Maguire, McManus, be more or less down that way. And then up in your area, every Galligan came from every Galligan in Ireland nearly came from Crushala. Yeah. So you can nearly guess yourself where they came from before you even start. But you don't just go by guessing, you have to go in and prove it.
This golden way is known locally as the Line. It was formerly a section of the Cavan Leitrim Railway line. It ran from 1887 to 1959. I could say that I was part of railway history in that I vaguely remember a journey on the line as a very young child when I went to Ballyconnell on probably one of the train's last visits. The heritage of the railway is preserved along the Golden Way to varying degrees in the original Bourne Road Station House, the Good Shed and the Killamurity Level Crossing Gatehouse. It was converted into a road in the early 60s. A few surviving iron gates are also reminders of the line's influence on the landscape in the past. The general history of the Cavan Leitrim line is well documented in print, in photographs and on film.
Our beautiful walk alongside Temple Port Lake Sanctuary is very peaceful, where one can get lost in their thoughts and mind. It's a walk made for one's soul, and one can amble slowly along, listening to the sounds of nature.
Hello, my name is Jim Ryan. I'm not a local here in Templeport. I came in, I spent all of my working life in Dublin, and you couldn't get a place that's more different to Dublin. What really fills you is all the different senses. It's middle of July now, so the smell of the meadowsweet is what's particularly pronounced, absolutely lovely in the evenings. You can walk down the Golden Way here now, and there are strawberries, and later on there'll be the blackberries. There's also the wild raspberries. So you have smell and taste. You also have all the sounds of the wildlife. The call of herons, there's swans, there's geese, the native songbirds as well. Beautiful sounds. Whereas this was an industrial site, it was a railway line. The railway is gone, but the wildlife has taken back over again. The Golden Way has been a great asset for me. Being a newcomer to the area, you walk the way and you meet somebody, you might just pass the time of day, or you might stop and have a chat. And for me, it's been a way to integrate into the community, and the Golden Way has really facilitated that in a big way.
Well, I find this walk a very tranquil walk, and there is a sense of timelessness there that occasionally I have to walk the dog up the lane, and I often go there a nice windy night, and it is very tranquil, peaceful, quiet. I suppose the general topography of it, you have good farmland, you have pure wetland and marsh and bogland, so it is two-way representative of County Cavan as a whole.
Good afternoon to all my good friends in Cavan from Sydney, Australia. I'm actually, my name is Terry Brady. My grandparents came from Bourne in County Cavan, and so it's really wonderful to be able to congratulate you all on this special occasion. I actually have with me the little dish that some of my relatives gave me in Bourne from the timbers out in St Mogues Island. But I hope you people are all coping in this very challenging time with the pandemic we've got on at present. We're always so grateful, I'm very grateful, my family, to our Cavan heritage. Every blessing and all the best for these days. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael O'Reilly. I hail from Mullahoran. I am the president of the Cavan Protective and Benevolent Association of New York. The Cavan Association is the oldest county association in the USA. It was founded in 1847, and we are proud to help continue flying the Cavan flag in New York today. I am also Vice President of the United Irish Counties, an umbrella organisation of all the counties, who in conjunction with 4 other organisations raised and dispersed over $500,000 to help the Irish community in New York suffering hardships because of COVID. On a personal note, I want to send best wishes to my sisters Nolan Duffy and Dolores Smith and all who were involved in the Cavan Calling project. Hopefully we will see you there next year.
I'm delighted to be joined by Cavan's music queen, Cathy Durkin. Thank you so much for joining me for Cavan Day.
Thank you, and it's always a pleasure to speak to you anyway.
You're very welcome. Cathy, you are part of the heart and fabric of Cavan music. Tell us a little bit about your career to date and maybe delve a little bit into your roots and how it all began for you.
Well, I'm from a little village called Butler's Bridge in just outside of Cavan town, and my father, Eugene Leddy, he had a great dance band on the road for, I think he was probably 30 years on the road with a Cayley band. So my roots would have started with Irish music and learning how to sing the Irish songs, and I actually played a little bit of the piano accordion when I started off as well first. So I learned at school the tin whistle, you know, the usual things. You learn at school the tin whistle and the piano, and of course I never was perfected any of them great, but I was still able to play the piano accordion a little bit. So that's where I started. My music would be sort of, I would have to say, thanks to my late dad, Eugene Leddy, and I sort of tried to carry on the music, but it's mostly Irish music, yeah.
The tradition. And for you, you said to us it started quite later on in life when you actually got involved in music and when Cathy Durkin really started to make her name.
Reason being, my first child, when he was born, he was very sick and he was in Crumlin for 3 years, and I didn't do anything about the music, but I think I was 32 when I started to sing, but I was singing from I was about 4 or 5, but I never did anything about it. I was singing it maybe at funerals, at weddings. I'd get up and sing a song at a party, but that was it. So it was when I was 32, and I joined a band in here. It was a 3-piece: Tommy Kenny, Howard Lowry, and myself. And it was at a show in the Kilmore where there was RTE were doing an out and about program to represent the county, and had all the different people singing and telling stories about Cavan and how wonderful Cavan was. So I appeared on the show, and I got a record company. There were 3 different record companies contacted me to give me a record deal. So I really didn't know anything about the music at all, but I went in headlong, knee deep in it. But anyway.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history.
So that great success across the globe, but all over America you've travelled with your band, and as you were saying, Irish music's so special and such a huge part of, you know, the Irish heritage, taking these songs to America.
Absolutely, and you couldn't believe, I mean, America, there's so many Irish in America. We don't realise how many Irish there are out there, and they never forgot where they came from, and they just love to hear the Irish songs.
Cathy, I could talk and talk to you all day. You've so many things to share with us about, I suppose, your time performing all around the world and bringing Cavan, your Cavan uniqueness with you everywhere you go. But thank you so much for taking time to join us on Cavan Day and share your incredible story. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And as I said, the song that I'm going to sing that I'm going to perform is one called Come Back Paddy Riley, a great Cavan song written by Percy French. And I know the people will love that, and if you're all listening out there, don't forget to come back to Cavan next year.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Cathy.
Thank you.
Oh, the Garden of Eden has vanished the same, but I know the lie of it still. Just turn to the left at the bridge of Finney and stop while halfway to Cootehill. 'Tis there you will find it, I know sure enough, when fortune has come to my call. Oh, the grass it is green around Valley Jamestown, and the blue sky shines over it all. And tongues that are tender and tongues that are gruff, still whispers come over the sea. Come back, Paddy Riley, to Valley Jamestown. Come home, Paddy Riley, to me. that I first saw the light. I looked down the street on that very first morn, and I gave a great groan of delight. Now most newborn babies appear in a huff and start with a sorrowful squall. But I knew I was born in Jamestown, and that's why I smiled at the morn. The baby's a man now, he's toil-worn and tough, still whispers come over the sea. Come back, Paddy Riley, to Jamestown. Come home, Paddy Riley, to me. Come back, Paddy Riley, to Jamestown. Come home, Paddy Riley, to me.
To our Cavan friends and natives wherever you are in the world, we especially send our regards today to all of the Killians all over the globe, and to our wonderful German friends in Kornak and in Würzburg, we send our fond regards. We hope to see you all soon again in Mulla and in Cavan. Ali, guten Wünsche, agus Banach J. Oriv.
Greetings, Mayor, members of Cavan County Council, and residents of Cavan, Ireland. Cavan Township was founded in Ontario, Canada in 1817. Many of the first families to settle here were native to the Irish counties of Cavan and Monaghan. Still to this day, there are descendants of these families residing in our community. The great affinity that our first families had for their native soil was demonstrated when they named their new home in Canada after County Cavan, Ireland. Our municipality is a land of hills and streams, farms and fields, and villages and hamlets. We are proud of our rural and agricultural roots. It's those same roots that transcend across the Atlantic to our descendant roots in Cavan County, Ireland. On behalf of the Township of Cavan Monaghan, it gives me great pleasure to bring greetings from our council and residents to celebrate the inaugural Global Cavan Day celebration. Congratulations.
I'm delighted to be joined by PRO of Corla na Nóg, Rhiannon Smith. Rhiannon, thank you very much for joining me.
No problem at all.
Rhiannon, explain to us what Corla na Nóg is all about.
Of course. So Corla na Nóg is a youth council. There are 31 in the country. Ours in Cavan is obviously funded by Cavan County Council, and a lot of our work is done in conjunction with them. It's kind of just a place for young people to get their opinions heard, get their voices heard, encourage change in their counties and in their local communities. You know, it's not something that a lot of young people get to do, but it's absolutely brilliant to be involved in and to have the opportunity to get your voice out.
And what inspired you to step outside your comfort zone of teenage life and take on this role to make more of a positive change in the world?
Yeah, I kind of fell into it. I suppose, you know, I didn't really know what Corla was going into it. I kind of just was told there's this AGM on if you want to go, so I got on the bus that morning and went. Yeah. And I'm so glad I did. You know, I've met some of the most amazing people that I've ever known, you know, some of my best friends through it, and like it's amazing working on projects for Cavan and for young people.
Rhiannon, what difference has Corla na Nóg made in your life?
Well, I suppose before I joined Corla I was quite quiet and reserved, you know, I kind of stuck with the same few people and I don't know, I didn't really branch out, but since joining I've made some amazing friends who really like encourage me to put myself forward for different things and get up, and I have so many opportunities to build my confidence. Like I've spoken at our AGM a few times, I've got the opportunity to speak in the Dáil, you know, it's things like that it's very rare you'll find a young person, you know, who's able to say they got up and spoke in the chamber. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing, you know, the difference before and after Corla in my life anyway.
Rhiannon, that's fantastic, and I really have to say that you're a wonderful role model for young people today, and I wish you all the success in your future and with Corlin and Oak. Thank you very much for joining us.
Dear people from Cavan, dear friends of Cavan from all around the world, warm greetings to you all on behalf of the German-Irish Association of Würzburg in Germany. The most important expat from Cavan was definitely St. Kilian, who came to Würzburg in the 7th century to bring the Christian faith to our region. And still, until today, we have a strong relation with Ireland, with local and regional partnerships, school exchanges and many personal friendships. This is why we call our town the Irish town on the continent.
Hi everyone, I'm Louise Rudden. I'm the chair of the Cavan Monaghan Association of Toronto. I'm delighted to be attending the event virtually today, and thank you to Tommy and his team for putting this great day together despite all of the barriers and restrictions, and we really look forward to coming home next year for the live event in Cavan. Again, congratulations on the first Cavan Day 2020. Thanks. Bye bye.
Il est un coin de France où le bonheur fleurit, où l'on connaît d'avance les joies du paradis. Et quand on a la chance d'être de ce pays, on est comme en vacances à Jaunet-Marigny. Bravo!
Cavan Digital Hub is doing wonders for boosting businesses across the county. Let's find out some more.
Growing up in Cavan and being involved in my dad's business and passionate for sport, I always wanted to create a business that was in an industry that I loved. My dad and my 3 uncles all had their own businesses, so growing up it was always something I aspired to be in a position to be able to create jobs for your local community. I'd done an operational audit on Cavan GAA, and this gave me the idea to create a club management solution. ClubSpot is an online customised club management platform that could solve a lot of the administration burden that's being placed on volunteers and could help clubs to grow their recurring revenues. As we began to grow and expand, we needed more space, so I was referred by Cavan Enterprise Board into Cavan Digital Hub, and the facilities here have been excellent and have allowed us to grow the business to a team of 3.
Cavan Digital Hub is much more than a co-working facility. We offer a range of different support services within the one building. Our goal is to create incubation space for digital startups. It's a shared facility which enables companies to scale and grow, full use of the canteen facilities. We offer services within the one building.
Cavan Digital Hub is a great place for people to share knowledge. Already I've worked with 2 of the partner companies in the hub, and I've gained advice of 5 or 6 experienced business professionals.
John was a natural fit for Cavan Digital Hub from the very beginning. Right now within Cavan Digital Hub, we have multiple entrepreneurs offering quality software solutions across industry. So one of our long-term goals would be to encourage collaboration across industry.
One of the great things about starting a business is that I don't have a typical day, so I can do anything from sales and marketing to accounting and legal. Every day is a challenge and we're always learning something new. The biggest challenge to starting a business is actually starting it, and perseverance is key here, then the road to success will open up.
We're always on the lookout for stories similar to John's to join us here, inspiring our team and our other hub members.
Guten Tag, hello Cavan. I was 19 years old when I left Ballyhaise 29 years ago to live in Germany. I was in awe with the culture, history and the hospitality of the German people. Learning German was my first accomplishment, and this year I was elected councillor in my hometown of Connacht, where I live with my husband, Volker, and 2 children, Lisa and Killian. I look forward to Cavan Calling in 2021, to meeting more Cavan diaspora and hearing your story. I wish all Cavan people around the world a happy Global Cavan Day.
Up next is award-winning actress Dervla Crotty and actor, writer and podcaster Michael Harding. Well, thank you both so much for joining me to celebrate Cavan Day. Michael, in your writing or interviews, you always embrace the Cavan wit and humour. Are you proud to be a Cavan man?
I have to put up with it. Being from Cavan is not a choice you make, right? You don't get to pick the county. You're stuck with the one you're born with. But there's a huge wisdom in knowing that you don't choose your life. Your life is a gift. And I've experienced Cavan as gift, as complete gift. Every second of my childhood and adulthood, and even sitting in this moment in this theatre. I just remember so much in this hall. You know, I came to the plays here when I was 16, 17. I saw all the great Tennessee Williams, all the Tempest done by Queens in Belfast, all sorts of extraordinary plays, including the McArdle brothers who used to run the Ballantrae players. This was an amazing place for theatre. It's no wonder that great actors like Dervla come out of Cavan. It's no wonder, because it's a really, really great seedbed for theatre. And I think it still is, as far as I know. And I really was educated in the theatre. If you come from Ballyburgh or Carrigallen or anywhere else, you can achieve the highest professional standards. And that was in itself a revolution, because when I went to Dublin first, I remember the first play I gave into the Abbey, the man that was handling it had a cravat, which is a thing around your neck, and a pipe, and a beautiful cut glass accent. You know, somewhere between, I would say, I don't know, Dalkey and Essex. It was gorgeous, right? But I knew handing them it, there's no place in this place for me, right?
Yes.
And I think that in my life has seen the revolution of local theatre, Druid theatre, live and dread theatre, and great actors emerging like Dervla and many, many others. There's Brian F. O'Byrne, a Cavan man who's done wonderful stuff in America and all over the world. So I think that this Cavan town has been very fundamental and crucial in the revolution and energising of the arts, and particularly of theatre in Ireland.
Yeah, fantastic.
So I'm proud to be from Cavan.
I love the way you mentioned the accent and how you felt nearly intimidated, you know, in these, in the big city and in Dublin. But the accent is, I suppose it's so important and it's so unique to Cavan people. So Dervla, what defines Cavan people in your opinion?
You know, you might say an openness and a closeness at the same time, or a great old dry wit. I think there's an economy, at least when you first meet people. You don't get an awful lot out of them. I mean, my aunt, definitely Molly, in her last days, was really in love with the idea of us way back on Cranogs. But you know, it wasn't just a romantic thing, but a real sense of place, and a real sense of belonging, and it is a beautiful thing. You were going to say something there, right?
No, just in relation to what you were talking about how Cavan people hold back and give. I think that the way that I look at Cavan people is that they will not give you anything in psychobabble, right? It's like they don't talk modern English. But the way that Cavan people get things across is in story.
Yeah.
And they really do. And that's the way that people in Cavan communicate. They communicate through stories. And it is a very, very beautiful and commanding use of English. It's no wonder to me that the English language was spoken here since the 16th century. As I do say in Leitrim, you know, they're all right, but they're kind of goodish at English. Just about goodish, but the Cavan people are masters of the beautiful, that Elizabethan language that you hear when people talk about an Oge's Day and I'd as lee not be there as I'd kill myself. You know, the kind of phrases that come out of Cavan mouth are from Shakespeare.
And would you say that's influences your writing, the Cavan?
It inhabited me.
Yeah.
That's what I said at the beginning. I had no choice. I can't say, oh yeah, I'm glad to be. No, it's a gift. Cavan comes to you if you're here. You just happen to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God, if I was in Kerry, I'd probably be speaking with a Kerry accent. Imagine that.
I know.
It'd be shocking.
Can I just pick up on that?
Yeah,
about the story. It's just great to hear that. Like my uncle John Joe, he had a shop up there on Main Street selling fish and tackle. And people would come in and they would be held captive. You know, they mightn't get out for 3 hours or something. And there would be people from all over the world, often, you know, fishermen. But John Joe would, like that, it's exactly like that. There would be stories about a man he met, or this day, what happened, or you used to hear tell, and it's really bringing me back there. It wouldn't be talking about this fella did that and they said this in government and and I heard on the radio and that kind of thing. There would be stories passed on and passed through, and that really rings a bell.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of culture that there is in Cavan. One of the most beautiful bits in Irish literature, 3 or 4 pages of the most finest in contemporary Irish literature, is the half day described by Dermot Healy in his wonderful book The Bend for Home. And like, that is a description, a story narrative of just what people were doing at 2 o'clock of a Tuesday afternoon or a Wednesday afternoon in Cavan Town. And people used to initially read something like Dermot and think, but sure, Johnny Riley is more interested in that because he's, you know, like, it's only stories. There's something beautiful about the simplicity of Cavan. It's all wrapped up in storytelling, I think. And that's why the theatre is so good here.
So you would say that being from Cavan has certainly, for both of you, moulded your success. And has it tapped into your work, would you say, Dervla?
I think inevitably it does. I mean, you are, you know, you're made of this stuff. But at a more cellular level, I am of Cavan. And so everything I bring to a part, you're not really disguising yourself. You know, you're drawing on aspects of yourself. And it's a mysterious process. So I couldn't say in this way, definitely I am. But no doubt, I can't be otherwise. So, yes, to say again, it's when you're here that you encounter it. And when you're abroad, you're all maybe playing kind of a version of yourself. I found that when I was abroad, and that's why I wanted to come back to Ireland, I think, was that I started to feel that the version of myself was taken over, whatever the true self is. And so when I come back into to walk the roads of Cavan and encounter people on those roads, then
I find that very interesting what you just said there. It really is. Would you feel like that, Michael?
I would, yeah. I would totally agree that, you know, there's a level of how you can engage with people in Cavan that is almost like a release from the asphyxiated neurosis that grips you when you're in urban places, right? One of the big things in Cavan is the lake. There's water in Cavan, right? There's an awful lot of water in Cavan. There's the Erne. There's the Shannon starts in Cavan. But there's this huge amount of, you know, 300 or 5,000 lakes or whatever they say it is today. It's a different number each day, by the way. But
is it decreasing or
it goes
increasing?
up and down, depending on people's emotional exuberance. Right? And these lakes, as you know, are full of water, and water is the eternal, universal, all-cultural symbol of the other world, right? It is what we are made of, it's what we baptize ourselves with, it's what we wash the dead with. The water is the power of the Spirit. And when you're living with that much water, you're nearly walking in a spirit world as well as the ordinary material world. And I think that that hugely affects people in Cavan. It gives them a sense of comfort. No matter what things are going on tragically in the world, there's a great sense that we only have a surface. There's other things beyond what we can see. And that in some sense we are being mothered, because again that's a great sense that water mothers you and minds you. And I think that the great poet of that was Tom McIntyre. McIntyre was an extraordinary poet. He was just so extraordinary. I remember the last reading he gave in Ballyburgh about 7 or 8 years before he died, and it was full. So there's a powerful sense of the poetry of the other world that you get in Cavan writers and in Cavan performers. And I think that when you ask Dervla then, you know, what makes her Cavan on stage, I would suggest to you it's not rhythm or accent or those things, but it's a sense that in the theatre, as Peter Brook said, it's about the invisible made visible. We don't really want to see sociology on stage, and we don't even want to see an actor. We want to see a ghost. We want to see the invisible made visible. And I think that the Cavan people who around the world have become great actors, from T.P. McKenna right up to Dervla, I think that's what they give you. A powerful sense of their own psychic spirit comes onto the stage when they step onto the stage.
We've really delved in and dissected Cavan people. Would you say you come here and to celebrate Cavan Day with us? And I suppose we're all so proud to be from Cavan in so many different shapes and forms. But you know, it's been a pleasure speaking to both of you and hearing your interesting takes on it. And I suppose a little bit of a step away from what you actually do on the stage and in your writing. But it's great to have you here with us, Dervla Crotty and Michael Harding. Thank you so much for celebrating Cavan Day, and I wish you the best of luck going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Combining the incredible talents of traditional Irish musicians Martin Donoghue and Aoife Murray alongside visual artist Alan James Burns, this is Molly Bon.
Jimmy went a-fowling with his gun in his hand, fowling all day, as you may understand. His sweetheart been out walking, he took her for a swan, and he shot his Molly bone at the setting of the sun. Jimmy went home with his gun in his hand, sad and broken hearted, as you may understand, saying, "Father, dearest father, you know what I have done. I've shot my Molly bone at the setting of the sun." Then up and spoke his father, although his locks were grey, saying, "Son, dearest son, do you not think of going away? Stay in this country until your trial is o'er, and you never will be hanged at the setting of the sun." It was in 3 weeks after to her father she appeared, saying, "Father, dearest father, please don't think to shoot my dear. My white apron being around me, he took me for a swan.
Aunt Margaret. What a joy it has been back in the home country. The people here are so friendly, and the countryside is just spectacular.
Keep it for yourself.
And that's it. That's all we have time for. What a privilege it has been to bring Cavan Day virtually to you. Thank you to all our wonderful guests, to our crew, to Cavan County Council, and most importantly to you for watching at home and around the world. So it's goodbye from me and everyone here at Cavan Day.
As Cathaoirleach of Cavan County Council, I wish to thank you all for joining us for the launch of the inaugural Cavan Day celebration. What a wonderful display of the global Cavan family's affection for its people, its diaspora, and everyone who shares an affinity with our county. Thank you to everyone who participated, be it through musical performance, arts, food, business or interview, and for the very many warm messages we received from across the globe. We are encouraging you to wear your Cavan colours with pride, express your Cavanness, reach out and find your Cavan connection. Connect with others across the globe using the hashtag Cavan Day on social media. Hopefully, next September, we will meet in person to celebrate our unique heritage together. Gur míle maith agaibh go léir, slán agus beannacht.
As I walk the road from Killashandra, weary I sat down. For it's 12 long miles around the lake to get to Cavan town. Loch Uachtar and the road I go both seem beyond compare. For I curse the time it takes to reach my Cavan girl so fair. Oh, the autumn shades are on the leaves, the trees will soon be bare. With each red gold leaf around me seems the colour of her hair. If my gaze retreats, I'll find my feet, then once again I'll sigh. For the broken pool of sky reminds me the colour of her eye. At the Cavan Cross, each Sunday morning, it's there she can be found. And she seems to have the eye of every boy and man in Cavan town. And if my luck shall hold, I'll have that summer golden of her smile. And to break the hearts of all them Cavan men, maybe she'll talk to me for a while. So next Sunday morning finds me homeward, Killashandra bound. I'll work the week till I return to court in Cavan town, and asked if she will be my bride, at least she'll not say no. So next Sunday morning I'll up and I'll rise myself, and back to her I'll go. La 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 la.
Hello, my name is Connie O'Reilly from Crover House in Mount Nugent and New York City. I'm sending this video to wish everybody a very enjoyable Cavan Day, which is coming up shortly, and thinking of all our friends and family back in Cavan and all over the world. And I'd like to thank the Cavan diaspora here in the United States, the Cavan Association, our football club, for the tremendous support in fundraising for the Centre of Excellence. And for Cavan people in Chicago, San Francisco, Boston, Philadelphia, thank you. Again, enjoy Cavan Day. We're all thinking about you.
Guten Tag, hello Cavan. 29 years ago I moved here from Ballyhaise to Würzburg city in Bavaria, Germany. I made this beautiful, vibrant city my home away from home.
Dear people from Cavan, dear friends of Cavan from all around the world, warm greetings to you all on behalf of the German-Irish Association of Würzburg in Germany. The most important expat from Cavan was definitely St. Kilian, who came to Würzburg in the 7th century to bring the Christian faith to our region. And still, until today, we have a strong relation with Ireland, with local and regional partnerships, school exchanges and many personal friendships. This is why we call our town the Irish town on the continent.
Dear Cavan friends, greetings from Würzburg. This year COVID-19 has us all in its power, and so in 2020 your trip to Würzburg and to Könach and our trip to Cavan had to be cancelled. We hope you're all keeping safe and surviving this pandemic. Our European exchange is a great pleasure for us, and therefore we look forward to welcoming you and all Cavan people around the world in Würzburg and its surrounding district in 2021, and we hope we see us in Könach. It is our great wish, together with Colette Hermann and the Partnership Committee in Könach, to visit you all in Cavan and in Mullaght next year for Cavan is Calling 2021. So until then, take care and a happy Global Cavan Day. I hope we see us again, and I remember our nice trips to Cavan and our nice trips from you to Könach. Thank you, greetings, and stay well.
Hello, my name is René Wohlfahrt, Lord Mayor of Könach. Könach is a municipality that dates back to 779 and has since transformed from a rural village to a modern town of the outskirts of Würzburg and Schweinfurt. Due to numerous residential areas, the population has risen to around 5,000 to date. In 2014, Könach made its first tour to Ireland to visit the hometown of our fellow citizen Colette Hermann. Since then, a lively partnership between Cavan and Könach has been maintained.
Greetings from Könach.
To all our friends in Cavan.
We are very disappointed
that we had to cancel our trip
to Cavan and Mullaght this year. We look forward to an end of COVID-19
and hope to see you all
very soon in Könach and in Cavan,
as soon as conditions will allow. All Cavan people around the world,
Happy Global Cavan Day and stay safe!
Dígit Macarja, Caroline Fay agus Eric Baldwin Shaw. A big hello from Walton, New York in the foothills of the Catskills. We're speaking to you today from my creative hub, the Big Little Art Studio.
We are very happy to be participating in this virtual celebration of Cavan Day. Let me show you around my new home of 3 years. We would like to build a relationship between Walton and Cavan by twinning our towns, by creating a gateway into each other's cultures and people. We look forward to seeing you on Cavan Day.
With its quaint old-fashioned.
Hey, my name is Paddy Riley from Castlerahan, home of the current senior champions. I'd just like to say hello to all my family in Castlerahan, all my friends in Ballygin and stuff, Castlerahan, Virginia, all over Cavan and anybody all over the world, Miami, Utrecht and Holland. And unfortunately I haven't made it over to this year yet, doesn't look like I will, but I'm sure we'll all get together next year and that you all stay safe over there. See you soon. Thank you.
Hi, my name is PJ Smith. I'm from Ballymacue. My adopted parish was Larry United, where I played my football as a youngster before coming to New York in 1981 with my brother Sean. I was joined a couple of years later with two other brothers, Seamus and Tommy. Tommy was our 1983 Senior Player of the Year. I have to give it to him. He was a class footballer. He was probably the best footballer out of the Smith household. I'm presently chairman of the Cavan Football Club here in New York. I've held that position for a number of years now. We are one of the oldest clubs here in New York. We're in existence for over 100 years. In the 80s and 90s, we've had 3 men's teams on the field in 1 year, joined in the 90s with a ladies football team. We've had our share of success. We've won championships, the last in 2016 in the men's, and our ladies won the championship last year. So I would ask if any young lassies or lads are coming out to New York that they would please contact the Cavan Football Club before, they would maybe wander away to some other club. Sometimes during the year we struggled with our number of players. I would like to also mention that my father was a proud Cavan man. He came from Lavey. I'm married to a girl from Ballybor. Her name's Kit Farley. I have 3 lovely kids, Peter, Stephen and Megan. We're all very involved in some way or other with the Cavan Club. I would like to say hello to my family out there, the Lionses, the Kellys, the Smiths, and I hope everybody is doing well over there, and I wish Cavan the best of luck, and hopefully we get to see you all over there soon after this pandemic is over. So we'll keep the flag over here in New York flying, the colour blue and white, and hope to see us all soon. Thank you.
Hello, Cavan from Vancouver, BC in Canada. I just want to say hello to all my friends and family in Cavan, particularly the McDermotts and Amelia and Finn Encore.
Hello, I'm Colm Henry, Chief Clinical Officer of the HSE. I was honoured and delighted when Conor Harrington of Cavan County Council contacted me some weeks ago to ask me to take part in Cavan Day. It's a pity we can't all come together to celebrate this day, and it's a sign of the times that we have to communicate with each other and send messages by video. And unfortunately, it's a way of life we're all getting used to, and will be with us for some time to come. I myself am very proud of my Cavan roots, although I'm long gone from Cavan. It never leaves you though, and I still call it return to Cavan, going back home. I have a road sign in my house pointing the direction to Cavan at 18 3/4 miles from my home from Cork. It's considerably longer. But like the prayer mat to Mecca, it's pointed north towards Cavan. My children have attended many an Ulster Championship match with me, usually a long disappointed road back home. Indeed, in my house I have a bottle of rare Scotch whisky, which I promise to open up the next time Cavan win an Ulster final. My son tells me the bottle will be safe for a few years yet. I've nothing but positive memories of Cavan, Cavan town where I grew up. There was a great community spirit in that town. I think of some of the great heroes of the community there, Father Turlock O'Reilly and others who founded the Scouts, the pantomimes, the drama festival, people who taught me that a community is much greater than the sum of its component parts. Everybody coming together for one common cause can greatly enrich everybody's life and make growing up for kids a really positive experience, and that was my experience of Cavan Town. I also remember and am proud of its often understated beauty, the lakes, the way that land melts into lakes, Lochouter Castle, places that are not on the ordinary tourist trail but retain their own beauty and individuality, and something of which I'm very proud. And during the recent lockdown here, when I was working with the HSE during some very difficult times, we received many positive messages of support in the HSE. And for me personally, the most moving messages I got were from people from Cavan that I grew up with, or people who taught me at school. Ray Dunn, I remember, Father Kevin Fay, and others who sent me messages of support and evoked the memory of my parents, who unfortunately have passed away a number of years now. And it brought back all those happy memories and the great community spirit that thrived in Cavan Town when I was growing up, and the community spirit which indeed supported our whole country during that first phase and the first wave of COVID illness as it swept over our country, and which we will need in meeting the great challenges to come. In finishing off, I have to say I would be expected to ask everyone to stay safe and to stay as close as possible but far away from each other in order that we can remain safe. This COVID challenge will pass, but I'm convinced that we will all be stronger as a community because of what we've learned and how we've learned to work together. So with that, I'd say goodbye. Slán Liv, go Míle Maithigh.
My name is Ben Cahill. I originally come from Mahra, County Cavan. I'm standing here in Sydenham Catholic Club. This club has been a great advantage to Cavan people over the years. Like when they came in the 50s, 60s and 70s, they settled in Sydenham. An awful lot of Cavan people settled around this area and became members of this club. This club was a great advantage to them, you know, finding a flat for them, work for them, the whole lot. And a lot of these people met their partners for life in this club, okay? So it's great sentimental reasons for Cavan people, and it's great to see the second generation Cavan people still using this club. Wonderful memories here for Cavan people still, which is great.
My name is Mary Moran-Harron and I hail from Kindermart in the parish of Templeport. Big shout out to my mum and my brother Pat and my sister Ellen in Kindermart and my sister Bridget and Martin in Cavan and my sister Catherine and Colin in Longford and Lisa I am Secretary of the Cavan Association here in New York, and we are striving to always get new members. So if you know anybody here in New York, please get in touch with us. We'll be delighted to have them, and there'll be no looking back. So I hope to get home soon when this COVID-19 is over. And in the meantime, stay safe and enjoy yourselves.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Shalvoy. This is my wife, Gail. Cavan holds a very special part in my heart as my third great-grandparents are from Cavan. Last year, the Rochester Sister Cities organization visited Cavan as our sister county. I'd like to thank Tommy Ryan and Shane O'Reilly for having us and treating us to such a wonderful time. We were on board to come out to see you this summer, but unfortunately we know what happened. But look forward to meeting you all in 2021. God bless from the United States of America. Take care and enjoy Cavan Day 2021.
Cavan.
I'm Cavan here all the way from Arkle, parish of Crystal. Just like to say hello to all the family around Cavan, all the Cahills there in Arkle, especially my father. Days must be long these times with this pandemic going on, but we're always thinking about you. And proud Crystal man, I always remember. One thing I have to say is I have two uncles that was part of the 7-in-a-row team, one from each side of the family. And the young lads are pushing hard these days. And hopefully get back home to see you all soon when this pandemic is over. Best of luck to you all. See you all soon. Goodbye.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous, je suis très heureux au nom du conseil municipal de Jaunet-Marigny et de tous ses habitants de vous envoyer un message de fidélité et d'amitié des habitants de Jaunet-Marigny aux habitants de Cavan. Je crois que c'est une longue histoire d'amitié depuis la fin des années 80 et depuis nous avons toujours réussi à maintenir des liens forts entre les familles, entre les jeunes aussi. Et je me souviens d'ailleurs qu'à la fin des années 80, j'avais cette chance de découvrir Cavan et sa bonne humeur et tout son patrimoine. Donc un grand merci à vous, on pense fort à vous dans cette période sanitaire où les échanges sont un peu plus compliqués. Mais sachez que les habitants de Jaunet-Marigny sont très attachés à Cavan et espèrent bien renouer encore plus fortement les liens qui sont entre eux.
Oui, bonjour amis de Cavan, moi c'est Jean-Paul, je suis un petit peu le vétéran du jumelage entre nos deux villes. Je suis ici aujourd'hui pour effectivement vous souhaiter un Cavan Day virtuel excellent qui se concrétisera vraisemblablement en août puisque a priori vous avez l'intention de le reconfirmer l'année prochaine en 2021. Voilà, je souhaite que bien sûr cette pandémie n'entrave pas nos relations, que nous puissions continuer effectivement à des échanges qui se concrétise par des voyages en Irlande, mais également par votre venue chez nous à l'occasion de la foire au vin, etc. Toutes les manifestations qu'il nous est possible d'organiser. Voilà, je n'ai pas grand-chose de plus à vous dire, à part à bientôt sur la chaîne YouTube.
See you soon.
See you.
Hello. My name is Dr. James Lynch. I am very proud to say greetings to everyone in Cavan. My mother is 96 years old. She lives in the house that I grew up in Elmhurst, New York, and she's a proud and strong West Cavan woman. My dad, Jimmy Lynch, lived everything in his life related to the Cavan people in New York. Because of them, I am very proud to have my friends and my family know what Cavan means to me. I miss all of you back in Ireland. Zoom and texts and emails are helpful, but it'd be very nice to see you in person. We hope next year that we get to see you then, and the absence will make our greetings all the better. Thank you, and have a great meeting among all the Cavan people from around the world.
Hello, my name is Neil Fair and I'm from Killashandra in County Cavan, and I'm also involved with the Cavan Dublin Network. The Cavan Dublin Network was set up to connect Cavan people living and working in Dublin and the surrounding counties through business, social and cultural events. We hold most of our events in the very famous Cavan pub, the Boar's Head on Capel Street in Dublin 1, which is owned and run by Q and Anne Hurricane, both males of Cavan. I would like to extend our greetings to all the Cavan people around the world, and we really hope you enjoy the virtual Cavan Day taking place on the 26th September. Take care.
My name is Paul Smith. I'm from Carmainsterdone, County Cavan, Ireland. It's in the parish of Lara. I came here back in 1994 for a year or two, and all Cavan, when I got involved in Cavan out here, I never looked back. Vice President of the Cavan Association out here, helping Michael Riley over there with issues whenever they come up to try and keep the show going on 5th Avenue. And just a message to everybody at home, stay safe in this COVID times, and if any of you ever want to come to New York, look us up and we'll try and get this on the road here if you're interested in seeing. And that's all I have to say. I'm up Cavan. I just want to send regards to my father, Pat Smith, at home, and just thinking of you. We're not getting home to see you these days, so we'll be there soon enough. All right? Thank you.
Hello, Tom O'Connell here from your sister county in Western New York, the County of Monroe. On behalf of myself, County Executive Adam Bello, and our society, we send our greetings on Cavan Day 2020. We are, of course, all disappointed that the trip for Mayor O'Reilly and County Manager Tommy Ryan were canceled coming over in March. We were looking very much forward to getting to know and introduce them to our local Irish community and leaders, as well as taking a trip out to the $100 million award-winning Colonel Patrick O'Rourke Memorial Bridge, our common hero. We were equally disappointed in not being able that Cavan Day 2019 had to be canceled. But better days are coming, better days are ahead, and we'll resume our work. As chairman of the Sister City Committee with Waterford and Rochester, over the last 12 years, we've been able to develop great partnerships at all levels in our communities, from City Hall to Chambers of Commerce to Bal Shalom has a plant in both cities, and we have great partnerships in our colleges. Not to mention great friendships and general citizens, and we get special guest status when we visit there. So I do want to share, we have a great interest in coming over. We only got to spend a day and a half in Cavan our last time, and our whole group is very eager to come and learn more of County Cavan and of its people. I do want to say that I am also a proud dual citizen. I'm an Irish and American citizen. My father's family comes from County Kerry, and my mother's family comes from County Galway. So looking ahead, on behalf of our common hero, Colonel Patrick O'Rourke, I say God bless America, God bless Ireland, and we'll see you soon.
Greetings from Monroe County, New York, to all of our friends and associates in County Cavan. The sister county agreement between Cavan and Monroe counties was signed in 1995. The association cultivated by people sharing a Cavan ancestry and interests in our common hero, Colonel Patrick O'Rourke.
Although we're disappointed that the world pandemic caused us to postpone our planned partnering events this year, we're excited to look ahead and continue to support the recently renewed interest in our building on our kinship. The International Sister City County Organization was initiated by President Dwight Eisenhower back in 1956 after he witnessed people working across borders to rebuild Europe after World War II. This inspired him to create this organization to promote peace and common prosperity through citizen-to-citizen diplomacy. While the city of Rochester has many sister cities around the globe, Cavan is Monroe County's first sister county. Examples of some of the benefits of these relationships are in partnerships in education, the arts, business, sports, and government that bring our communities closer and provide opportunities for community and individuals. We are certainly disappointed to have missed the opportunity to host Mayor Shane O'Reilly and County Manager Tommy Ryan in March, as well as having to postpone our visit to the Cavan Calling event. But we are pleased to be able to address all of our friends of County Cavan on Global Cavan Day and pledge that recent good works will continue and we will be visiting Cavan when conditions allow. We very much look forward to the days ahead and to the good to come for our communities and citizens alike.
How you doing? My name is Rory Dolan, originally from Killashawna, County Cavan. I'm glad to be here in the Killashawna room here in New York. I'd like to say hello to my mum at home, living outside Killashawna. I also like to remember my father, Seamus Dolan from Cavan, Senator Seamus Dolan. I'm here in New York for the last 35 years. If you ever come to New York, please call in here to Rory Dolan's. We give you a very warm Cavan welcome. Sorry we're not home with you in September, but hopefully we'll be there shortly. Again, thanks. Come out to see us.
My name is Sean Fitzpatrick and I was brought up on a farm outside Milltown in County Cavan. It was an idyllic childhood, surrounded by family, friends, with visitors coming and going all the time. After completing my leaving certificate in St. Patrick's College, I moved to London in the mid-60s. I trained as a teacher at St. Mary's College and spent 10 years teaching maths and physics in a comprehensive school in West London. During this time, I played guitar in a band on the Irish circuit in London. I decided on a change of career, gave up teaching, and started a business in the construction industry. Today, the VGC Group has grown into a multi-million-pound business involved in civil engineering, railway contracting, and also expanding into vehicle rental, golf, and property. I have always been supportive of the Irish community in London. I support the Cavan Association and served as chairman of the London St. Patrick's Festival Ball Committee for many, many years. We sponsor the London GAA and the London Irish Rugby Club. I also serve as a trustee on the Harlington Hospice and as a board member on the St. Mary's University Development Board. Although I've lived in London for many years, I still regard Cavan as home, and I still look forward to returning there regularly and spending time with friends and family.